We get right to our top story tonight, though. We're 2 weeks away from the Iowa caucuses, and there's no shortage of activity on the campaign trail. The polls indicate it's still anybody's game, and meanwhile, the scrutiny of the candidates is getting more and more intense. Joining us tonight for the fastest 2 segments in politics, radio talk show host Tammy Bruce, Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Bob Beckel, and Politico.com's Jonathan Martin. And we start with a story about George Romney, who apparently first, a number of times he talked about how he saw his father march with Martin Luther King Jr., then did somewhat of a backtrack and correction today. Let's show the videotape on that.
I was taught in my home to honor God and love my neighbor. I saw my father march with Martin Luther King.
It's a figure of speech. I saw my father as a champion of civil rights. This is a figure of speech, and it refers to that figure of speech. I saw my father march with Martin Luther King, noting his great record in fighting for civil rights.
Jonathan Martin, not only did he not see his father march with Martin Luther King, the Boston Phoenix that broke the story indicated he never actually, George Romney, that is, marched with Martin Luther King. So there seems to be a little bit of a problem here, doesn't there?
Well, I think your latter point there, Alan, is right now the key one. He can perhaps get away with talking about using a figure of speech or a rhetorical device when it comes to seeing his father, but there's still not yet been evidence found that his father did ever march with King. There's no question that George Romney was a champion of civil rights, but look, this is presidential politics. You got to be very precise in these things, and they have not yet, brought up evidence showing that Romney did in fact march with King at any point in the 60s. There are no contemporaneous news accounts saying just that. And
Tammy Bruce, apparently a spokesperson for Romney earlier today had said, well, it was a similar event, but a different time, a different place, but yet they somehow marched together. I mean, I can't somehow connect these dots without my head exploding.
Yeah, well, listen, we've learned a lot about Romney, is that he gets fantasies and then they become reality to him. It's not exactly what we need in the White House. He also, I believe, was in France doing his missionary work, so he was actually on another continent during the same period of time.
This was when there was
reveals.
This was when there was
reveals the nature of this guy.
During a Grosse Pointe, Michigan appearance by Martin Luther King, that's right. Yeah. George Romney wasn't there, and Mitt Romney wasn't even in the country. Let's move forward here as we give you the fastest couple of segments here in politics. ABC News reporting that Bill Clinton launching Obama attack websites, and the Clinton campaign registering names of 2 websites that they're saying there they are attacking Obama. What's actually going on here? The Clinton camp says Obama has his own site called HillaryAttacksBarackObama.com, catalyzing criticisms, or categorizing, I should say, criticisms Clinton's made about the Illinois senator. I believe we have some Hillary video here, and we've seen some of that just now. Bob Beckel, is this an unfair attack? Are they just grasping at straws now to attack Hillary Clinton on anything they can come up with?
Well, first of all, the 2 websites, they use that as an excuse. I mean, Barack Obama's got a website that outlines the attacks on him. She's got 2 websites that are attacking Barack Obama. That's an entirely different situation. You would think after the issue in New Hampshire with Shaheen and after a couple of other issues like this attacking Obama, they're in a deep pit with a shovel, and the idea is to take the shovel and put it away and stop digging, because I think it hurts them.
Tom Tancredo dropped out of the race today, Jonathan, the big scourge of illegal immigration. He's thrown himself in front of a moving Huck. He wants to stop Huckabee in Iowa. Does his 6 points toss to Romney change the outline of the Iowa race?
I think it remains to be seen whether or not that Tancredo can actually move any votes. I was there today at that press conference, and you're exactly right, Mark. He got behind Romney because he does fear the rise of Huckabee here in Iowa. He has a solid core of support. I'm not sure, though, that that's transferable, but, there's 2 weeks left, and if Tancredo does implore his folks to get behind Romney in a small turnout race, every little bit helps, so it could be helpful to Romney.
Let's get back to good old negative stuff. The New York Post, Tammy, had a story today about Anthony Rodham being a deadbeat dad. He owes $75,000 to his ex-wife. If you can't keep track of the Clinton brothers, this is the guy we last heard from, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, when he was involved in a hazelnut scam in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, which is not an order of words one has cause to use terribly often. Is Clinton fatigue already setting in early, Tammy?
Well, I think we had Clinton fatigue quite a while ago. This is obviously Rodham family values. And here you've got the Boxer family, which has yet to say anything. But Nicole married this fellow, I think, pretty much knowing what she was getting, and she knew who her sister-in-law was and the nature of that marriage. I don't think anybody should be surprised. Also, at the same time, of course, the Boxer family is not suffering. They're not living in poverty. And some people might argue that that's a heck of a lot of money to be arguing to pay someone for alimony when they're doing moderately well themselves. That's a whole other argument. But, you know, this isn't good for Hillary's campaign, but I do think it speaks about the Rodham family itself, and I think it reflects on her just like Hillary's husband reflects on her, and it's not good, neither one of them.
It makes you wonder, Bob, if there's such smart campaigners. This is $75,000. Couldn't the Clinton campaign have settled all this quietly when the campaign got going, before it all became public?
I'm still getting over the nuts in Georgia. The answer to your question is you legally can't do that. The other point here is this is much ado about nothing. Everybody's known about Rodham from the beginning. This guy's been a problem. If you had every sibling who caused a problem for a candidate for president to cause a real problem, you wouldn't have any candidates for president. There's always one, you know? So I don't think it means anything.
Okay, Tammy, how about this celebrity endorsement business? We had a big thing about Oprah endorsing Obama. Turns out not only does it mean nothing, but twice as many people are less likely to vote for Obama, according to one poll, since he got endorsed by Oprah. Presumably, Alan must have endorsed Tom Tancredo, and his numbers went
south. That's how much power I have, Mark. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think when you look at it, we just need to call him Barack Winfrey now, and that really kind of gives you a sense of the depth of the lack thereof with Barack Obama. But I was saying this for many weeks now since that first happened here on Fox, is that it's one thing to be looking to celebrities for light entertainment, for an escape during the hot political season, but Americans, especially after September 11th, take the future very seriously. We realize the next day, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and we aren't going to look for to Oprah Winfrey to save our families. That's not the role she plays.
That's like 20,000 cards any day.
Mike Huckabee is taking a stand on an unexpected topic: Jamie Lynn Spears and the 16-year-old's pregnancy. The second half of the fastest two segments in politics is up next.